2025 is drawing to a close. This is now my 4th year of doing YouTube. In this video, I wanted to go over sort of how much I had made and my finances from 2025 from doing YouTube and content creation and stuff, just to give you a little bit of an idea of how much or how little I actually make from this side of stuff and where those different sort of income streams come from. If you don't know me, my name's Ed. I'm a director and DP that runs a small production company. I'm based in London. But over the last few years, I've also accidentally ended up getting into YouTube and doing this sort of like content creation thing, which has sort of become a second business now. So 2024 was a pretty big year for me on YouTube, and this year wasn't quite the same in terms of growing the channel. So I think in 2024, I went from like 6,000 subscribers over to like 16,000 by the end of the year. So like a 10K subscriber count. And this year, we went from that 16,000 up to around, well, just about scraping over, hopefully 25 by the end of the year. But I've definitely made fewer videos this year compared to last year. So that accounts for some of that. So last year, I think I made 37 videos. This year, I've only made 27. And there's a few reasons for that. So this year, I've had a really busy year with my production business, which just meant I've not had as much time to dedicate to YouTube as I did the previous year. But also, there's been way more camera launches that I've been covering this year. And those videos tend to require a lot more work, often like 3-4 weeks worth of work, and they tend to be much longer videos as well. So in a sense, those end up being, the equivalent of 3 or 4 shorter videos packaged up into one like 20 to 40 minute video. I've also spent a bit more time trying to grow my Instagram this year, so I think I went from like under 2,000 followers on that to 5,000, and I've sort of been dabbling a bit more with TikTok this year as well. This year, I think, was the most I've ever earned from YouTube, although it wasn't significantly more than the previous year. So last year, I think I earned around £20,000 to £23,000, and this year I earned around £26,000. There's different income streams that I have with this YouTube business. There's the YouTube AdSense, which is like the share of the ad revenue you get from YouTube. There's affiliate marketing, so placing a link down in the description, so I'm clicking that, buying a camera and getting a share of that revenue. Then there is like sponsored opportunities, so sponsored YouTube videos, mid-roll ads, Instagram Reels, stuff like that. Digital products, so I sell some digital products, and then finally like miscellaneous stuff, so maybe like speaking at events or doing like one-on-one camera training or like consultancy. So from AdSense this year, I actually made a lot less than I did last year. So last year I made £2,750. This year I only made £2,466, which makes sense. I made fewer videos this year. From affiliate sales, again, I made considerably less this year, sort of half of what I made last year. So last year I made closer to £5,000 from affiliate marketing. This year I only made £2,200, which again makes sense. I made a concerted effort to put out fewer videos, pushing and promoting gear this year. So, the upshot of that is that you're just going to make less money from selling equipment. In terms of sponsorship stuff, I actually made more money on this front. So a few reasons for that: larger audience, therefore I could charge more, and just more people wanting to work with me on that front. Comes in all shapes and sizes, so everything from fully fledged sponsored videos. I think I only actually did one of those this year, it was Zune. Then you have like the 60 seconds, ad read mid-roll videos that you put inside your YouTube videos where you're promoting something for 60 seconds. So I had a few more of those this year. And then the stuff like, Instagram Reels and doing sponsored posts on there. So last year I made around £5,000 from various sponsored content. This year I doubled that and made around £11,000. So like huge growth on that front. And again, I'm not someone who does a lot of sponsored content either. So a lot of that came from sort of just being able to charge a little bit more per an opportunity rather than just sort of like spending my whole year blasting out sponsored content. I also had some sales from digital products this year. So in total, I think I earned around £7,686 from selling digital products. That's of Friday, the 19th of December. So I'm sure there'll be a bit more from that by the end of the year. Most of this came from Palermo, my power grade and LUT pack for DJI D-Log M cameras, which I launched, I think, last August. So that has made around £6,486 this year, which is pretty good, given that I haven't really been doing any marketing or pushing it. Like the sales from that have been much better than I had originally anticipated when I launched it. But they have like significantly tapered off like consistently since that initial launch. By like, you know, summer and now, sales have massively tapered off, but it still makes around like $200 to $400 per month, which is pretty good, to be honest, considering minimal marketing. This month, I also soft launched a new digital product. It's called Hackney. It's a power grade and LUT pack designed specifically for Lumix Vlog cameras. So I launched that on Monday, a few days ago. Today's Friday. And so far that's made around £1,200, which I'm really happy with, considering I just sort of soft launched it and sort of gave it a shout out in my last video. And hopefully those two things together will give me a bit of income, which will tide me over in January and February, which tend to be the quieter months for my freelance production business. Finally, there have been a few other miscellaneous bits of income that have been associated with YouTube. That's included speaking at events, one-on-one camera training, and yeah, a little bit of consultancy for some brands. And that's brought in around £2,600 in total. I've also been getting more and more requests to promote generative AI products and do sponsored content around that. And I have turned all of those down. You know, everything from text to video generation to AI voiceover generation. Those are just not things that I felt comfortable promoting. I'm not a complete Luddite. Like, I realize AI is going to be great for improving efficiency, improving workflow automation and stuff like that. But generally, I personally don't feel easy with the way that people are trying to push generative AI in replacing human-centric creativity in the creative industries. I collaborate with a lot of humans in my production business. I work with voiceover artists, I work with animators, and I just don't feel comfortable promoting AI products that would replace their jobs, especially as the output from generative AI models is massively inferior to what my human colleagues can do. So obviously turning down those products was a loss in potential revenue, but it did give me the impetus to release my own digital product. And I've earned way more from that in 4 days than I would have from the fee I would have gotten from shilling an inferior generative AI product. So overall, it's brought in around £26,000. Not bad, and you know, not complaining, and that's in conjunction also with the income I get from my main production business. But I think there is like a tendency of people to think of YouTube income as like a passive income stream, and I need to tell you that it absolutely isn't. If I was to tot up all of the time that I spent this year on YouTube and compare that to how much I've actually earned from it, like, the two just don't really balance out. Yes and no. So towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, I put out a couple of short personal projects, short documentaries. They took up a lot of time, but they were fun. I enjoyed making them. But the upshot of that time investment is that they brought in new clients, new work requests, new inquiries from people who I had never met or worked with before. Downside to balancing, you know, a production business with a YouTube business is just the amount of time that they take up. They both have their own sets of clients, their own sets of stresses, deadlines, workflows, admin. You try to give 100% to both and you just end up completely burning out, which is kind of what happened, to be honest, to me by sort of midsummer, by August. I actually ended up injuring my back. I herniated a disc in my back, and I did that doing YouTube. I've never really injured myself in my production business because I do it properly. I have crew, I take precautions, safe lifting, all that. But in YouTube, everything is so rushed. You're doing it on your own. You're not really getting paid. And I was just carrying loads of kit to make a YouTube video, and I just did my back in. And the upshot of that is that I was off work for ages, you know, paying for lots of physio and rehab and stuff. And it was a scary time. I couldn't work. I was turning down work. There was a lot of financial uncertainty that came along with that, a lot of stress and anxiety. I mean, thankfully, I'm on the mend now and stuff is sort of mostly positive. It made me realize that I'm going to be 40 next year and I can't run my life and business like I'm in my 20s. I can't do everything all the time, no matter how much I want to. Now, the upside of having a YouTube channel is that it provided a bit of an income that helped cover some of the time off that I had when I was injured. But the downside is that YouTube itself doesn't care if you're ill. It doesn't care if you're mentally unwell. It doesn't care if you've got to take time out because you're a new parent or you've got family stuff to attend to. I think the latter part of the year definitely involved me sort of, you know, taking a step back, taking stock of everything and just trying to slow down and disconnect myself from the grips of YouTube a little bit, which involved turning down new gear review opportunities and just sort of settling into a more self-guided workflow where I was pursuing my own ideas and not being hassled by someone else. And I think that decision largely paid off. I think you, my audience, engaged with those videos a lot more. I enjoyed making them more. I sort of regained some of that passion for doing YouTube that I was starting to lose in the first half of the year. I was working to my own schedule and workflow and deadlines, and obviously these were my ideas. And to see them perform well in terms of YouTube metrics was a lot more rewarding than, you know, getting sent some lenses, spending ages making a video on it, and then just not really getting any traction or engagement on those. I think next year I will dip my toe back into maybe doing a few more gear reviews for bits and bobs and new lens sets, but I'm going to see how it goes, and if I feel like it's beginning to take over again, I will pull myself back. So overall, it's been a crazy year, full of highs and full of lows. Like, it's just been a real roller coaster of a year. Highlights definitely include speaking at a Blackmagic event, attending 2 trips for camera launches for Lumix, having one of my short docs featured by Cooke lenses on their Shot on Cooke showcase. That was really cool. My favorite video I put out this year, I don't know, probably I really love the little short docs I put out, Nocturne Obscura and the Bookmaker, but in terms of proper YouTube videos, I think maybe the Sony A7S retrospective that I did featuring Philip Bloom, that was a lot of fun to make. Best camera release of the year, probably got to go to the Lumix S1 Mark II. We've had a great year this year. Best lens release this year probably has to go to the Dezio Film Vestimid 2s. I think they're fantastic lenses and they're going to be my pick for the year. Low light of the year, definitely herniating a disc in my back. Didn't love that. So yeah, as always, a real mixed bag. Big shout out to my partner Steph for helping as she does with the YouTube channel. Couldn't do it without her. Thank you to all of you who have watched my videos this year, commented, subscribed, engaged. As you can see, I don't earn mega bucks from doing this. I do this because I'm a bit of a nerd and I love sharing my passion online and talking to you all in the comments. Anyway, I hope you've all managed to survive 2025 and I wish you all the best going into 2026. I've been Ed, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next year. See ya.